Hey guys, so let's try this one more time. Um, but I wanted to come on here because news had come out, and while I was out, this weekend attending my nephew's wedding, um, Vizipop decided to drop a surprise on everybody, and that surprise was the actual finale to season one. The reason I say actual finale is because of the fact that the finale that people got was only episode 7. And then between that and the premiere of season 2 and the episodes that went along with that, there felt like there was some kind of disconnect. Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And most importantly, why is Loona, you know, talking more sweetly, more tolerable, more, I guess you could say, caring, acting more caring, if you will, about her adoptive dad, Blitzo. You know, there were a lot of questions, with that, when she met up with Octavia, doing that, saying that stuff. You know, there was a lot of questions that fans wanted answered, but they could not figure out, you know, they could not figure out exactly what those answers could be. I mean, they would speculate, they would wonder, but they didn't know, the legitimate reasoning why she was, acting this way. Why she suddenly felt like she had a change of heart. I mean, yes, we do see at the end of that episode, she still kind of keeps up the facade by, kicking Blitzo in the balls and everything. But then we also see this genuine smile on her face when she, hits when he gets back up and tries to hug her, and she just hits him in the face with a book, but then gives it back to him, and all that. You know, you have these kind of things happening, these moments happening, along with other things that have gone on in season two, and yet there was always like that disconnect, like something was not basically connecting, you know, connecting all the way. Like there was some missing pieces to the puzzle. And finally, we got those answers. We got those answers basically with episode 8. Now, episode 8 has a unique history in itself because it seemed that for some time they couldn't get it released due to legal reasons. Now, we don't know what those legal reasons could be. I'm someone that could speculate that based on, you know, um, based on the music and song that was used in episode 8, I could assume it was due to copyright and all that, and basically, what kind of residuals, if you will, royalties, that they could get from it or something. You know, that's what I'm thinking. It could have been maybe a payment issue. I don't know. With the artist, it could have been a payment issue. I don't know. But finally, it has been released. And the surprise is that the character in here, Beelzebub, or Queen Bee, or just Bee as she's known for short, the character you see in the middle and on the left, um, is voiced by the artist Kesha. And Kesha, from a movie standpoint, the last I know of, appeared in a post-credit scene as Pizzazz, in the live-action Gem and the Holograms movie, to try to set up, a possible sequel that will never happen. Obviously because of the terrible, terrible reception that movie got before it even came out. So, so yeah, that was like the only other time that she appeared in any kind of acting, role in that post-credit scene. Now, Now here's the thing: Vivi Pop has come out and said that she's always wanted to work with Kesha, and for quite some time, and now she finally got that opportunity. And the reason she's always been wanting to work with her is because what got Vizipop, I should say Vizipop, on the map was her fan video, her very well animated fan video to Kesha's Die Young. And in the video, you see this blue fox, anthropomorphic female blue fox called JJ, performing the song. And when you look at B, as she's known for short, you can kind of see a little bit of influence from JJ's design in her, from her hair, her tail, the way she moves around. You could just see that. Now, the reason I bring this all up and what it has to do with, Loona talking to Octivia and her relationship with Blitzo and everything, you know, it's, from what people have seen and talked about here with Queen Bee, with Beelzebub, if you will, or just Bee, if you will, what people have said about her, and again, this is all a matter of opinion, is that she feels like she's the kind of ruler, because there's 7 realms of the underworld, that, she's in that middle area, but she seems like the kind of ruler, princess, queen, whatever, that doesn't really adhere to a lot of the other standards that the other lords and queens and prince and princesses, adhere to. Like basically she doesn't look down upon anybody no matter what your status is. She just wants everybody to have a good time, give in to the gluttony of, enjoyment of, just, dancing and partying, easy for me to say, dancing and partying the night away. Just, having fun. Just give in. Just let yourself give in to your gluttony, your obsessionness, if you will, your wild side and everything. Just let all that trouble go away and be bring out this side of you that's not rarely seen at all because of your status or the status you have to adhere to, kind of, is what I'm trying to say. I'm doing this without a bullet point, so, you have to apologize if I kind of stumble a little bit or try to pause and think about what I'm going to say before I say it. But yeah, it's she feels like she's that kind of a character that, doesn't, as I mentioned, really adhere to the standards of the other rulers and everything of the underworld that, basically to what they, uphold and everything. She feels more loose, like more genuine, if you will, in her approach. And to me, when I look at her, just based on what I've seen, I could, and her design to me kind of gives it away a little bit, that, she has that sultry kind of seductive look, attractive look, furry look, if you will. But it's also that kind of look that, basically, from what I've seen in past animations, it's that kind of look that, just tells you, yeah, she may look, it's kind of like the old Jessica Rabbit trope. She may look bad, but she's just drawn that way, and she's the complete opposite of what she looks like. So in other words, B is just, a genuine, good, ruler. Hybrid, bee, hellhound, amalgamation, whatever she is, she's just a good bee. And like I said, she wants to see everybody else have a good time. And because of that, she's able to, sense when somebody's not. And, it kind of brings, and when she senses that, it kind of brings her down a little bit because she doesn't like seeing that. So she encourages others to go to that person, or if she does it herself, and try to, get them to have a good time. Which is why she had the issue with Loona not going to check up on Blitzo, because, if you follow the series, now I don't follow it as much, I just go off of what people say, and I do kind of have a sneak peek here and there, but from what I could tell, and everything, just based on, the history, B is aware of any of the hellhounds or any other beings being adopted, and all that. So she's very much aware of Loona, in her history of Blitzo, even though she's never really met her until this episode. She's very much aware of Loona, in my opinion, being adopted by Blitzo, which is why she kind of gets on Loona to go and check on him. And even gets to the point that, when Loona, kind of snaps back at her and everything, it, makes her upset, and she just lets her anger get the best of her. But you can tell that when she lets her anger get the best of her and she just grows to monstrous size, and everything to really get her point across, until Loona's like, fine, I'll go do it, and everything. She kind of reverts back, and she kind of feels a little like ashamed, like, like she didn't want to have to get to that point, but it's like Loona did something, basically pushed a button in her that made her do that. Because she's never, I don't think, had anybody be like, in her face and defiant until Loona. But obviously, I think what it is now, I haven't seen the episode, maybe you guys can correct me on this, but I think what it is that not Loona, but B basically sees that, Blitzo, cares about Loona. And that deep down Loona cares about him, but she's letting her pride, she's letting her pride and a little bit of that rage and anger she still has for being adopted just a few months before becoming a full adult and thus being free, still simmer. And I think that's another reason why, she had the issue that she did, why she told Loona go check on Blitzo and everything. Loona didn't want to do it, and they had that little exchange. Because, B's trying to be like, look, this guy cares about you. He wouldn't let you come here if he didn't care about you. Go check on him. He should be having a good time like you. He should be having a good time like everybody else, and you should as well. Or something like that. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, she does genuinely feel like the kind of character that not only rules over her realm, but doesn't, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't kind of follow the same rules as the other lords and princesses do. She just does her own thing, and that's it. She does it for the sake of everybody having a good time. Whatever, however much sense that made. And I do apologize if it sounds like I'm rambling, because like I said, I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say, and I'm also trying to do this because my mom's watching the Giants and the Blue Jays right now, so it's keeping her distracted. But anyway, though, like I said, she does feel like she's that kind of a character that genuinely cares about others and wants them to have fun and just, let loose, from the hassle of the week, and everything once in a while. Now, like I said, like I've mentioned, or at least alluded to, there are some there are those that do feel, and they've mentioned this in their reviews and their analysis, that maybe what we're seeing with B is just a facade, and that B is really dark and manipulative and everything. Basically, in a way that nobody would suspect would be, would be part of someone like her. So that's understandable to look at, because again, she is a ruler, and we don't know whether or not she is genuinely acting the way, she's genuinely caring for those around her and wanting everybody to have fun, or she's just manipulating them because she wants to feed off their gluttony. She wants to feed off their, life force or something like that to make herself stronger. We don't know. So it's understandable why some people would come out and make, that argument that maybe she's not exactly who she says she is and everything, and this is just all an act. This is just all a facade. And like I said, that's understandable to understand and, and kind of see as being, her character. But from what I can tell, just based on my perspective and based off what others have said, I do genuinely think she is the kind of character that's very caring, and that if you do push her buttons like Loona did, she will get angry. And she doesn't get angry because, she's letting her real self come out. No, she gets angry because it's like, look, I'm trying to have, I want everyone to have fun, and your father, the person that cares about you, is not having fun, and he's doing this just for attention, desperately seeking attention or affection. You need to go check on him. So yeah, basically you see, you see her do that, and it's not because, she's showing her true colors. It's because she's basically saying, hey, go check on him. I'm concerned, as well as you should be, about his well-being. So I do, so by seeing that and everything, and then seeing her kind of be very regretful about having to get that angry and everything monstrous to get it through Luna's skull and everything to go check on him, for her to kind of revert back and be a little regretful about it, it shows that she is again very different from all the other underworld bosses, lords, if you will, royalty that rules in those 7 areas. She's very different, very, very different. And I think she is, as we would see at the end of the episode, and again, it helps connect into season 2, why we start seeing this more caring side of Loona towards Blitzo. Especially when Blitzo pours out his heart in sadness when they get back home. And everything, saying that he's going to die alone and that, nobody's going to be there for him. And then yet, I think from what people have said, she comes out and says that she will be there for him. And I don't know if she says this after he falls asleep and he doesn't hear her or something, but she basically says she'll be there for him. And that right there is a moment. And that's a moment that people have been waiting for. Like, yes, now we're starting to see this progression. We're starting to see this development by Loona and her realizing, even if it took someone like Beelzebub, Queen Bee, if you will, to wake her up to it, we're starting, as well as later on with Octavia, well, that kind of helped out too, but we're starting to see this side of Loona to where she's accepting the fact that Blitzo didn't have to adopt her, but he did, because he sees and he understands her, and he wants someone to care, and he wants to be there, and he wants someone, to be there with him, to be by his side. And she's now starting to see that. She's starting to see that he does care about her. He does love her as a daughter, or as his daughter and everything. And that he doesn't want nothing to happen to her. Yes, she still keeps up the little bit of a facade of, hey, don't embarrass me or anything. Don't go try to hug me and squeeze me like I'm a little baby. Also, I'm going to kick you in the balls, or I'm going to hit you in the face, with a book and everything if you try to be too affectionate. Yeah, she still keeps that up because, that's who she is and everything. But we're starting to see that progression. We're starting to see that development of her character to the point that, as I've said before in the video, I think we are going to get that moment. It might be in season 2, it might be in season 3, it might be in a freaking movie if they decide to do a movie finale. We don't know. But we are going to get that moment where she finally, face to face with him, calls him her dad, basically acknowledges Blitzo as her dad, tells him she loves him as her father, and thanks him for being there for her. We're getting to that moment. And what we see here in this, season 8 episode of season 1, that's been a long time coming, and thus it helping to connect what's, happened in season 2 thus far. Again, we're starting to see that growth by Loona. We're starting to see it, more so than it's ever been and everything. And that resentment that she has, yeah, it's still there, but it's slowly diminishing. And it's being basically overtaken by the realization that he saved her. Blitzo saved her from a life of poverty, a life of unknowingness. And now she has a purpose. It may not be the purpose she wants, but it's there. And that he basically has gone out of his way to make sure she, is happy, to provide her with everything, to make her happy. So, yeah, no doubt that this did a lot. This episode did a lot in connecting the dots between season 2 and the end of season 1. Because, again, it's a lot of dots and a lot of questions that people wanted answered, and people were speculating on and wondering about, not just of who Queen Bee was, Beelzebub was, what she looked like and everything, but also what is the connection, here, in season 2. What is that connection as to why Loona is now acting more affectionate, even if Blitzo doesn't see it as much, towards him? And, why did she talk so compassionately, if you will, about him with Octavia? Now we got the answers, and now we're starting to see, because we got those answers, that character growth for Loona, really start to, happen more so than ever, and her being more accepting of Blitzo as her dad, as her father, and somebody that didn't have to do what he did to save her and adopt her, but he did because he can relate with her. He understands her, and she's starting to see that. So, yeah, they didn't have. So yeah, Vivi Pop and her crew, they didn't have to go out and do what they did, with this episode, and release it and all that. They could have just left us with 7 episodes in season 1, but obviously they knew questions had to be answered and everything. Because I'm sure they've always, like a lot of us growing up, they would see things, in one season end or one episode end and not really get resolution to it until further later on, like way later on, and everything. And that, they wanted, and that there was always times they would want resolution right then and there. But they would either get it way later on, like I mentioned, or they wouldn't get it at all. So I'm glad they went back and gave us this resolution to the whole situation. And now, like I said, we're starting to see that growth by Loona, as a character. And it's all thanks to the appearance of Beelzebub, Queen Bee, voiced by Kesha. Now, the obvious question that people have is, will we see Kesha's character again? That's up to, financially to what Vivi Pop and her crew can do. I would assume they might try to bring her back. But, like they've mentioned, like some people have mentioned before, financially they can't, really afford. They can't really afford some of the top name actors and actresses they want, so they have to recast them. So hopefully down the line we might see her again, but it might be by somebody else. But she might be voiced by somebody else that might sound like Kesha, but it's not Kesha. And her design might be a little bit more modified because, one person speculated that perhaps the reason we may not see Bee anymore is because, her design is, especially with the hair and the tail is, kind of a stress to probably work on and everything. But to me, if you have that design already on file, on your computer or your laptop, with whatever program you're using, then obviously you'll be able to come back to that, design by loading it back up and then just working around it. So I think we will see Bee again. It just might be, a lot longer than we're expecting. And whether or not she is her character, whether or not what we saw is, in episode, in episode 8 is just a facade and she's more, devilish, manipulative than she's letting on, then, we'll find out, over time. But if she is, as a lot of fans have pointed out, very genuine, very caring, unlike all the other lords and princes and princesses and everything. We'll find out when she appears next. But I didn't see the episode, but based on what I've heard and little bits I've seen, this definitely has done the one thing a lot of episodes should do. Especially if you get that gap. For who knows how long, it fills that gap in. It fills it in and gives you those answers, even if it takes a long time to make happen. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens in the future, and whether or not we'll see Bee again. So yeah, that's all I can really say. One thing I will say about Bee, the way her tail and hair design, especially in her tummy as well, very liquidy. Vivi Pop, I don't know if you're listening, but if you could. But I don't know if you can ever do it. But if you do decide to bring her back, Vivi Pop, try to make it go all liquidy and melty. I mean, she just gives off that vibe with her tail and her hair and her stomach. So, yeah, if you could do that, I think people would like that. It would show that she can do a lot more than just fly around and everything. So, but anyway, those are just my thoughts on this episode and, my analysis. Like I said, mostly my, thoughts from looking on the outside looking in. But give me your thoughts, guys. What do you think overall? Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, live chat is open and super chats are open in the live chats if you want to help donate there. And while you're in the live chat, and if you want to do super chats, also give me your thoughts on what you think about the episode and everything, and the character and all the connections they have made and everything, and the basically the character development growth for Loona based on what we saw here. And give me your thoughts. And like I said, in the live chat as well as in the comments below. Also support me at my Teespring store. Also, check me out at patreon.com. So it's BW Roses. Also, you will get an audio podcast version of this at BW Roses Discussion, or audio podcast affiliates. Mostly check me out at Spotify. That helps me out a lot. And really, guys, that's all I'm going to say. But let me know what your thoughts are, and I will talk to you all later, and I'm out.